Welcome, friends, listeners, teachers, lovers, overworked nurses, unemployed freelancers. Come on in and join us for the Burmis Tree Storytime Hour. It's a dark one on Gabriola tonight. It sure is. The spirits are restless outside, but we're safe. We got my dog Rudy, got the fire going, and my very favorite Bengal spice tea. And I wanted to talk about a story about my walk today. When I went down through the narrows between Little Mudge Island and Gabriola, and we came across the carcass of a dead sea lion. Now, that's not an uncommon sight around these parts, but something about this particular little sea lion caught my eye. Its eyes were missing, you see. As I thought about how something like that could have happened, I heard a sound up in the arbutus tree above me, and I saw two ravens chowing down on those gelatinous orbs. And it got me thinking about a story someone told me once about old St. Lucy, 1,000 years ago in old Sicily back in the Roman Empire. Well, the Holy Roman Empire, I suppose, at that time. And well, she had the most beautiful eyes ever to be opened on this earth. So beautiful that suitors would come from thousands of miles around until lines came from the city out into the countryside. But you know, St. Lucy, she didn't care about none of that. She was what you might call a spiritual person. She did not have designs for this mortal world or the desires of men and the demands of her body. She was above all that. She wanted to live a life with God. She wanted to let go of those chains that tie us to our desires that so many of us are often a slave to through this life. So, St. Lucy, she cut out her own eyes. It sounds grotesque, I know. And just as I was looking at that sea lion's eyes, it was a grotesque sight as well, but there was something beautiful in it. It occurred to me. This act of loving sacrifice, of giving something away from yourself, from your own body even, to be closer to the Great Spirit, to be closer to the truth. And maybe in the case of that sea lion, who may have had no control over as his life ended, washed up from the goddess of the sea onto that shore. But even that sea lion was giving its own act of a loving sacrifice so those ravens could eat and feed their families, and so on and so forth, in that great wheel of life that we often forget that we are bound into. Well, I think it's time we move on to the song, which don't have much to do with that exactly, but it is called St. Lucy, and I have thought about St. Lucy when I wrote this song. But this song is about sort of the opposite. It's about a man who, possessed by his own demons and darkness, set forth on a journey of self-destruction and destruction unto others, that finally caught up with him, and not only him, but his loved ones. Why don't we have a listen? say your love is like a spider in the weeds of golden web. It makes its home in my dreams and makes its home beneath my bed. I'm catching a train to the eastern quarters. I hope I'm not too late to swim in Lake Ontario and dance all night with the water snakes. San Lucia with your eyes like diamonds, won't you shine a light on me? I'm in the darkest depths I've been in. All of my memories, I'm naked in front of the judge and jury, the blood-stained hand and a cigarette. They say that I've come too far and there ain't no way I'm turning back. Well, you swore you wouldn't fall for my tricks, so you followed me to the moonlit beach and I held your head beneath the waves. After you swore that you loved me, torches lit the darkened wood and knew there was nowhere to run, and they took my baby brother down to the highway, pay for the things that I had done. I'm standing up all night and I'm making a list while the ghosts run inside my head of every single son of a bitch who I will home when I'm dead. I'm speaking to you, you won't get in my way. Help me at your back. I will hold you in your dreams at night. I'm the light behind you in photograph. Well, I think our villain in this story here held on to a lot of vengeance and anger and let the darkness take over him during his life. And even though he might have reached out at the beginning for Santa Lucia with her eyes like diamonds to shine a light on him in that dark place, still at the end he was not able to let it go. And his actions, they caused harm not only to himself but to others, to his brother, to his family. And you know, I think that that's what the cycle of vengeance is when we get so caught up with those unmet needs inside of us. We get so caught up with our desires, with our anger, that we cannot give our love out into the world anymore. We cannot give that loving sacrifice like St. Lucie did, or even that sea lion at the beach. And I think we might need a little bit more of that these days. You know, when we're all consumed with how we've been done wrong in our lives by others, by loved ones, by enemies. And we hold on to those things inside of us and we're determined to either get revenge or to have that never happen to us again. When really, I think we all should practice a bit of that. Letting it go. That loving sacrifice. Anyway, that's just what I was thinking about tonight, you know, and these nights get pretty strange these days, as you all know. So why don't you take care of yourselves and your loved ones. And tell your loved ones that you love them, because you never know when you might not be able to do that again. Forget about that argument you had earlier today or 6 months ago, or that past love that did you wrong. It's making you hold up those walls, so you cannot let that love out. Let go of that. Tell them you love them. Give that love and sacrifice, just a little one, just a little bit tonight. Alright, well, got to put another log on the fire, and my Bengal Spice tea is getting cold, so I'm going to say goodnight. But you all be safe out there and be good to one another. And tell your loved ones you love them tonight.